Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike from the Retrollectors, and today I'm going to discuss the games that I've beaten this year. It's a vast list from very different consoles. I just decided the best part of collecting games is actually playing them. And there's a lot of games that you miss, from a past generation, or you've heard so much about, but you just didn't, you didn't have that console, or you didn't have that game, or you couldn't afford to buy that game. So there's a lot of games right now that are in my backlog that I've gotten to actually play and enjoy playing as of late. So here's a list of the games that I've played as of this year and I've actually completed this year, which is, not very many games, but there are about 17 or so. And my biggest completion list is the PS4, because the PS4 is one of the last systems I've got, and it was one of the greatest systems that I've played up to this point. So without further ado, first up, Lego Batman 2 on the 3DS. It's mindless fun, I guess you could say. It's not great, but it is pretty fun. I wouldn't spend full price on it, much like a few Lego games. I wouldn't spend very much money on it. If it was used, which this was, I'd pick it up, but I wouldn't really invest, $39 or $49 on this game if it first came out. So it is what it is. I liked it. Shinobi on the 3DS. I absolutely hate this game. It's so tedious, so boring. It's overly long for no reason. I got this for free. A buddy of mine just gave it to me, and I guess he didn't like it either, and I could see why. I didn't, I finally beat it not that long ago, and I didn't like it at all. Many of you might, have a difference in opinion, but I couldn't stand it. I didn't enjoy it at all. A little bit of NES love, Contra. I did, the Konami code, so obviously it was a little bit easier with the continues and all that. I know a lot of people could play this with, continues and maybe 3 men. I cannot, so I actually got to finish it, and I'm happy I did. So I can actually put this to bed. On the 360, Bulletstorm. I started this the end of last year, the tail end of last year, and I finished it early this year. I'm surprised they actually made a remaster of this on the Xbox One and the PS4. I didn't like it at all. I find a lot of fetch quests, go backtrack and falling through pits just to make the levels a little bit longer. So you're running directly towards an objective, and all of a sudden the floor gives out, and now you have to run back to get to that point. I didn't enjoy it at all. Though the killing is pretty cool, like actually using your environment to kill enemies. It's a lot of fun, but I found it, very tedious, very boring. Assassin's Creed 2. This is probably goes up as one of my favorite Assassin's Creed. I know a lot of people will say the same for their set of Assassin's Creed, 2 being one of the strongest. The cliffhanger, how it left off, I didn't enjoy. I haven't played any of the further of Ezio's story. I would say Black Flag is another one of my favorite Assassin's Creed. And Origins looks like it's a phenomenal game. I'm actually looking forward to actually picking that up on the Xbox One. Really, really good game. A game that's fairly old. I'm not exactly sure when this came out. It still does hold up on the Xbox, so it's a really, really good looking game. I've actually played this on the games with gold. It was backwards compatible on the Xbox One, so I have it downloaded on my Xbox One, and this is just to show off that I have it. Great game nonetheless. Raiden 4. I played with Jimbo. He actually convinced me in buying it on the Xbox store, so I bought it. Jimbo Fox, Retro Game Lounge, if you guys aren't familiar. We played it together. A lot of fun. It's really straightforward. A lot of continues were used in this for me to actually complete this game. It's just a tally up in scores. It's a really, really fun game. Different ships, different weapons, different power-ups. Really, really good game. A lot of fun. Probably go back and play this again. My PS3 is not connected anymore, and my PS3 is actually, my log of actually playing it is slim, because this is basically it. I finally finished GTA 5 at the beginning of this year, and the story is pretty good. I really did enjoy it. The graphics are really, really good for what it was when it came out. I have the PS4 version, and it is a great game. The online features were fun when I did play it, but I found myself so far behind that and overwhelmed for what had to be done in the game for online that I was baffled. I just like quick games like where I can just sit down and enjoy this game. It's not to say that you can't do that. It's just like you're overwhelmed with so much stuff popping up on screen that kind of turned me off. But a great game nonetheless. Good story. Not one of my favorite stories. I think Vice City is probably my favorite story as far as the GTA franchise. I didn't really play San Andreas very much, so I know San Andreas story-wise is probably one of the strongest in the Grand Theft Auto series. but Vice City was my favorite, and this is a close second. On the PS4, I picked up Destiny 2, played through Destiny 2, and I'm bored of Destiny 2. The story is 8 hours long. It's very weak. It's basically just leads up to a DLC for the next story, and a DLC for the next story, and so on and so forth. The one thing I didn't like about it is I beat the story as a warlock, and to get to play as the other characters, you have to beat the story for those set characters as well. So if you want to play as a Titan, you have to beat the game as a Titan. You want to play as a hunter, you have to beat the game as a hunter. And I found it very boring. You know, you're playing the first 8 hours, okay, fine, you're experiencing the story, and then you have to play it again and experience it. Yeah, you could cut through all the cutscenes because you already watched it. Okay, now it's just a 4-hour game, and then you have to do it again for another. So it's just boring. When I did play this online, I did enjoy it a lot, but I found that a lot of it was just repetitive. It just got very, very repetitive. The first, 20, 30 hours spent in seemed really like a lot of fun playing online with friends. But when those friends weren't online anymore, and you're playing, by yourself, it's kind of a very tedious game. Okay, go to this point, do an event. Okay, go to this point, do an event. It was fun for what it lasted, but it died really, really fast. Next up, Batman Arkham Knight. I love the Batman series. I love City. Arkham Asylum was really, really good as well. I was really looking forward to this. I stayed away from all reviews when this game first came out. I didn't care what the reviews were. I wanted to experience it for myself. I did enjoy it. The story was weak at the beginning. It got very, not very good, but it got pretty good near the end. I didn't like the Batmobile, which I could see why a lot of people gave this, a lackluster score. The Batmobile sections of it were very boring. I didn't like the puzzles you had to use to get the riddles with the Batmobile. I found it very tedious, but the combat system was really good. The Arkham Knight seemed like a cop-out as far as a character. DC created this character as a new villain, and it seemed like a cop-out by the end. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but it's a really good game nonetheless. The mind-altering things that you could do or that you are put through as Batman are really, really cool. I did enjoy it. Not my favorite Batman, not by a long shot, but probably my second favorite, or maybe probably in the third. A City, Asylum, and then this. Good game nonetheless. I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan, and I actually did enjoy this game. I liked where they were headed with it, and then it never panned out that way. Unfortunately, we're probably never going to see another Metal Gear, and Konami kind of shit the bed on that. I did enjoy it. The story was all over the place at the beginning, and it kind of put it to bed at the end, but it seemed like it was rushed at the end, and it's a shame. I really did enjoy this game. The graphics were fantastic. The combat was really good. Sneaking up and taking down guards and using your dog or your companions to actually take down enemies, which was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it, but it's too bad that it did not live up to the hype that it was supposed to be. And like I said, I enjoyed it nonetheless. Probably one of my, maybe Metal Gear 1 and 2 being my favorite, 3 being really good as well. This is probably maybe my 4th favorite game on the Metal Gear franchise. Good nonetheless. I would suggest if you're going to buy it, pick it up just to experience it. It's really, really good. Now, I have 3 games as my game of the year. One of them I don't actually have. I borrowed it from a friend of mine, and that's Uncharted 4. I know Uncharted 4 came out as last year, and Last of Us came out, early on as a remaster. But since I've played all 3 of them this year, these games are by far my favorite games of ever right now on this gen. Horizon I platinumed. I enjoyed it. To say it was my favorite game, it's probably maybe the 3rd favorite of the 3. I did enjoy it. I found that there was a little bit of things that I didn't enjoy, like the mantling. The parkour elements of the game were fun, but trying to find footholds and fighting off a boss or fighting off an enemy and try to escape at the same time seemed very tedious. You're always looking for these white things on walls or white or yellow things on walls to actually climb, and you're looking around where you're being attacked. Some of these enemies are a lot faster than you are, and while you're trying to look for footholds, it was kind of annoying. but I did enjoy it. The story was really good. Aloy as a character, I'm looking forward to a part 2. Aloy as a character was a fantastic character. Her dialogue between characters and NPCs was great. When she was alone in the world and you're running through things, what she was talking about during what you saw was amazing. I really did enjoy it. Uncharted 4 was my second favorite game of the year. I loved Uncharted 1 and 2. 3 was a little bit of a wash for me. I think I felt a little bit wore out by that point of Uncharted. I think maybe because I played them in order. 2 I played a while back, then I played 1, and then I played 3. So I guess I experienced a little bit of a boredom to the series. But 3 I didn't enjoy it at all, like just for the sake of the story structure and the elements of certain things where I saw already on part 2 on Among Thieves, and some of this stuff was just rehashed in 3. So anyways, back to part 4. I enjoyed it. I loved the story. I loved how it ended. I loved the graphics were fantastic. It was such a great game. My game of the year right now goes to Last of Us. Watching and talking about this game and watching YouTube videos about this game and watching the Last of Us Part 2 announcement trailer, it gives me goosebumps. Like it was unbelievable. I'm glad I did not spoil this for myself at all. I stayed away from any reviews, much like Batman, any news, anything about it. I did not want to spoil myself at all. I played through Ellie's story and I absolutely loved it. Being a father myself and seeing Ellie develop as a little girl and have to fend for herself as the game progresses, such a great game. I loved how Joel, his progression into playing alongside Ellie or being alongside Ellie, how he didn't want to be with her at all because of your resentment for something, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. Playing through this, and then I seen the trailer from the last E3 where Ellie's playing the guitar. She actually gets to learn to play the guitar, and her singing that song gave me goosebumps. It's actually giving me goosebumps right now. I've watched that trailer dozens of times, and I've loved every second of it. I've absolutely loved this game. If you haven't played it, do yourself a favor and play it. It's fantastic. Now for the Xbox One, I've beaten about maybe 6 or 7 games. They were a lot of fun, but I ended up trading them in just to get another deal or another bundle or another game set that I wanted. And some of them being Black Ops 3, I beat the story. It was okay. I found it. I was lost. It wasn't my favorite Black Ops story. 1 and 2 being my favorite Black Ops story. It was kind of weak. I didn't understand the timeline jumping and stuff like that. The gameplay online was fairly fun, but I could see how it wore out really fast. Next up was Sunset Overdrive. I beat that game. I enjoyed it. But again, I was kind of wore out of the open world games. I powered through it. I didn't really do anything extra in the game. I wanted to get it off my backlog, so it was a good game, a lot of fun. The death animations were fun. It was really, really good game, but I kind of felt like I was wore out from a lot of open world games, so I think that got the brunt of it, not because it was a bad game, but just because I was wore out by that point. Next up was Wolf Among Us, a Telltale game. Never played a Telltale game. I started playing Walking Dead, and I enjoyed it a little bit, but I never went back to it. And A Wolf Among Us, which is pretty good. I enjoyed the fairy tale setting. A lot of fun to be had, when you're trying to, what decisions to make or break your alliances with certain characters. A lot of fun, really good game. I did enjoy it. A lot of these games are also on Xbox Live. When games with gold, I downloaded them when they were free, and I ended up putting my backlog and now completing them. So that's being said, Warriors Orochi, a 360 game that was put on the backlog. Beat it. It's a Dynasty Warriors game. It's fun, but again, it's push A, push X, push A, push X. That's basically it. Next up, Sleeping Dogs, the Definitive Edition. I did enjoy it. Again, on the backlog of paying a lot of open world games. I just played the story. I enjoyed the story. Didn't do anything else to it. I didn't care for anything else. I just wanted to finish the story, get it off my backlog. Fallout 4, I did enjoy. It was a good game. There's so much to do in the world. It's so expansive. It's so crazy. You walk 3 feet, there's a quest. You walk another 3 feet, there's another quest. Much like Skyrim, it's a game that, yes, you could follow the storyline, but there's so much extra to do. Such a great game. I ended up trading it in, not for anything, just a bundle for something else. But I did enjoy it nonetheless. But please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what games you guys completed. If you guys completed any of the games I've mentioned in the comments down below. Thanks, guys.